Alright guys, welcome back. I know it's been about a month, but we're back. Had some family issues and had a death in the family, so and some other things that went on, but besides the point. Title of the video, I don't know what I'm going to put it as yet, but you'll know when you click on it. So here I have my 1985 Chevrolet S10 two-wheel drive long bed 2.8 V6 automatic. Um, well, today is basically an update. Will she run? Will she drive? I know the last video I did, the truck did run, but the transmission was not in it yet. So I wasn't able to take it up the road or anything like that. It has not been started at all. So I'm going to be doing a cold start on her. Even though it's like about 92 degrees out here and I'm sweating to death. She has dual Flowmaster exhaust. There's one of the little guys right there. A lot of things has changed on the truck. I'll go around and talk about a couple things. I'm not going to waste a whole video of talking about this and that, blah, blah, blah. But tailgate is new. The tailgate that was on it is a GMC, which is really what the truck is. It's actually a GMC Sierra S15. And I swapped it all over to a Chevrolet S10. And there's the other one right there, pointing straight down to the ground. It sounds pretty good. It is a little muffled. I'm not, what you say, crazy about it. But it does its job, and it does alright. There's no more of a drone noise that I used to have. I actually used to have single in, single out Flowmaster exhaust, and it come right, just barely right over the axle, and it was kind of hitting the shock on this side. So yeah, it had kind of a drone at 45 miles an hour or so, right when overdrive hit. Anyhow, so basically, another thing too, the lights in the bumpers are new. I got those. The lights on the sides, clearance marker lights, those are different. I also swapped it back to the 80s style front end. I still have the 93 grill and the front end for this, but problem is the hood and everything is still not lining up right. It's not the hood. I've got it adjusted this far back on this side, and that side over here pulled this way, and it still has a gap over there, and it still hits this fender. Same thing with the bumper. As you noticed, the bumper on this side is maxed out to the fender, and I'm kind of mad about that. And this side, well, she's got a lot of space. The problem is the bumper on this cannot be maxed out anymore this way. I've got it as far as I can this way. Front end wise, the radiator support, it's maxed out. Well, no, it's maxed out, I believe, that way. It needs to come this way, which is the main problem. But the thing is I can't go this way. If I go this way, then that means the bumper won't be able to be put on. Then, I run into other issues. Yeah, the hood and everything will be lined up right, but as far as the bumper goes, I won't be able to use that. And I'm still trying to find a chrome front bumper. I got to get rid of this black. I don't like it. I am going to keep my lights, however, whenever I get rid of this bumper, but I do want the chrome instead. But anyhow, so she's got brand new tires on her. They are 205 70 14. It's supposed to have 195 75 14, but 195 just kind of a little too thin for me, if you ask me. It don't hurt nothing, not with the gearing of the transmission. That shifts, it actually, in a way, it shifts better with these on it. But the engine and transmission that this was in was the same year, make and model and everything, truck, long bed and all that. But he had 16s on that truck, and it shifted a lot early when I test drove it before I took it out and put it in this truck. But anyhow, transmission is in. Fluid is topped off. All the fluids are topped off. It's got brand new brakes front and back. new exhaust, new motor mounts, new transmission mount. Interior is immaculate like it always has been since I got the truck. Originally I only paid $400 for the whole truck. It had a 2.5 4-cylinder in it originally, and I swapped it over to a 2.8. And the main reason was because it had a blown head gasket, and the second reason it only made 90 horsepower. What am I going to do with that? Some of you are going to say, well, the 2.8's only made 135 horsepower. Well, I don't care. It's a lot more than 90. 90 wouldn't get nowhere. She's got 31,977 on the clock. I changed the oil at 31,718. I haven't drove it that much. Probably, what is that, 200, 300 miles since I put everything together. Before I fire it up, let's go and check underneath the hood. Alright, so here's another thing that I'm having a problem with this front end. Because it is all shifted this way and it won't go this way. And the truck's been originally wrecked before I got it. And I had thought that when I first got it and it had the other engine and trans and fan and whatever else, radiator, that it was all straightened out. But remembering back when I first made that video, the fan was hitting the shroud on this side, so even before I even touched the whole truck, it was already still, everything must have been shifted this way accordingly whenever I first got it. So that's still a problem I still got to work out, because everything needs to go this way. Something just isn't lining up right. So, new valve cover gaskets. I've painted the valve covers, new belts. I got a clutch fan coming, because the one that's on, it's wore out. It kind of just spins, has no drag like it's supposed to have. Battery's new. Deleted all the vacuum lines. There is no EGR valve, there's no smog pump, there's no vacuum hoses, there's no nothing, there's no emissions at all. What that I didn't need, I capped off. It has a new coolant temp sensor switch. Thermostat's new. Coolant's new, of course. The exhaust donuts are new. Exhaust manifolds, oil pump, oil pan, oil screen, front seal, rim ring seal, carburetor base gasket's new. I went through the carb, not rebuilding or anything, but I cleaned it really well. Put a new air filter in there, changed the oil. Tune-up's done, plugs, wires, cap, rotor. Master cylinder is new. I painted the whole engine bay before the engine went in, as y'all remember that from before. A lot has happened. Fuel pump's new. I did all that stuff before I put the engine in. And it is cold. It is a cold start. It has not been started at all. I mean, I'm touching it with my bare hands. It's not hot. The bolts for the manifold are new. The ones that were in it were rusty and old and didn't have any grooves on the end of the bolts, so I went ahead and bought new bolts. I painted the exhaust. All the exhaust is painted this color. It's 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, is what I got. I had the pipes that used to come up through here cut off and welded up, so I don't have to worry about that. And then ones that actually came out and did right, I went to Tractor Supply and got these Allen head cap off things for like 90 something cents or something like that's what I think I paid, and popped those suckers in there, and I've never had a problem yet. There's no exhaust leak or anything like that of any kind. So wiring harness has been swapped over for the 2.8 from the 2.5, but that's pretty much it. I changed the power steering pump. I've had a lot of issues with that. Well, his name channel is S10 for life. He knows who I'm talking to. I had issues with power steering pump. The original 2.5 that was in here, it had a switch between the high pressure line to the pump, and I initially thought that the issue was I had no power steering, and actually what it was the pump itself. The pump that came with this engine was just shot. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't do anything. So I took the pump off the 92 that y'all seen that I had for parts, and took the new hose off it that I bought and the pump and everything, and I still have the engine. The 5-speed that I had for it's gone. But anyways, put that in here, changed the pulley, and she's like new. So, alright, so underneath, you can see the exhaust is new. I bought that new pipe. You can kind of see, if the camera would focus, it goes out to a Flowmaster, single in, dual out. The center support bearing for the drive shaft is brand new. Rear main seal for the tail shaft seal for the trans is new. Front pump seal is new. Oil pan for the trans is new. Everything is like brand new in right here. So far, no leaks. I do have one little tiny leak, and I'm not sure where it's coming from yet. It's up there next to the trans and engine where they meet together, and it better not be that rear main seal because that sucker's brand new. She does have rear brand new shocks. Painted the rear differential cover, and I checked the oil in it. Oil is actually really clean, so somebody must have changed it not too long ago before I got it. It does need to be topped off, and there's still things need to be done to this truck. I'm not fully done, and I'm never probably going to be. That's the whole point of a project truck. I do have the rear spare tire just in case something were to happen. So a lot has changed on this truck, and I do plan on changing the color back. This truck was originally white. As you can see really up close, the whole inside of the bed's white. And on the other side where I bought rain guards, where I'm going to put rain guards on it, from here to, I think it's about right in here somewhere, I'm going to put rain guards on her and make it a little bit better, because I tried driving it one day in the rain, and that wasn't fun because I have no AC yet in this truck. It is equipped with AC, but there is a problem with that. I need a connector, which is this little guy right here. This plugs into the wire coming off the firewall. This goes to the AC compressor. As you can see, it's been highly melted. The camera won't focus. And this goes to the one of the idle solenoids that go to the side of the carb. And that little guy goes right there. And then the AC will sit here, and then that little connector is supposed to go here. But the thing is I had a 2.5 in here, so this is different, and it's a 3-wire, not a 2-wire. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about if I ever put AC in this truck. I would have to change the whole wiring harness to the air conditioning system. But the problem is all of this leads into one little unit, and it goes inside the dash into a grommet, and I don't know where that goes. I'd have to look up a diagram to figure out where the crap that goes, so I could change it over from a 2.8, or get a 2.8 harness and put it in here so I could have that connector. I don't know yet. I did fix, because it had a computer, as you can see way down there. That is a freeze plug expander. I got that at AutoZone, and it actually wasn't big enough, so I took electrical tape, taped it around it, and then I put a little bit of silicone of RTV around it, and that sucker is sealed real good, so I don't have problem heat coming into the cab whenever I drive it anymore. So that's a big plus. I have newer weather stripping. I took all the parts off of that 92 that I could. The weather stripping on mine was shot, so I took the weather stripping off of it and put it on here, which is a lot better. The other one didn't even have weather stripping at the bottom, so now I have fully sealed truck. All the lights come on. Choke light stays on. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm thinking that the choke is just shot. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do a high idle or anything like that. It just starts and runs at a really low idle until it gets up to temperature a little bit. The main bearings in this engine is kind of shot, and you'll hear that in a minute. I'm really upset about that, but I've got 20W50 oil in it, which helps. Cold start, 60 psi, and well, I'm thinking about putting Lucas in it. Maybe that'll help, but we'll see. I didn't even touch the pedal yet. That is at about 1,000 RPM. So it's got about 50, almost about 55 PSI, something like that. Let go. That's probably about 500 RPM, so it's 50 PSI. $60 at 2,000 RPM. So, like I said, it's cold. It runs good. I do have a lifter tick. It kind of clears up when it gets warm. It doesn't do it all the time. And just a few minutes, when we get it up to temperature, we'll maybe take it for a test drive. Like I said, it doesn't sound the best. Both sides. This fan shroud is actually from the 92. I got this because of the alignment being for the fan shroud. It hits, so I didn't want to tear up the factory one that's supposed to be in here, so I got the one that I cut up for the 92 and put it in here, and now I've got a fan shroud. I needed something to hold the radiator down. It doesn't overheat with it being like this, even though it's cut up. It actually does the same, so there's not that really much of a difference at all. Kind of hear that rattle that I was telling you about, main bearings. Other side, same thing. Weather stripping's all done. Y'all noticed before I painted the dash. I wished it had the light in here so it could light up, but it doesn't, so it's no big deal. Got my CDs in here, shade. I do have the rear carpet now. I do have the rear speakers that slide in the back here, and I do have the pieces that go all the way up there around the back of the seat belt, both sides. I got this one in. Both speakers do not work that I had gotten, this one or the other one back here, so that's why I got two sitting in the back just for now so I can hear. I actually wired it up because it didn't have that from the new radio, and that was a mess dealing with wiring up new wiring. That's always fun. Put it into a wire loom. It's got shrink wrap connectors all the way back to put everything together, so there's no issues, no problems. See the way weather stripping, I did this side, I ain't done the other side. Now this is with steel wool. Now it looks a little bit scratched, and that's only because it's not fully done yet. You can see some right there, but you can take steel wool and just, it'll rub right out. It doesn't take that much of a force to really scratch the whole stuff off. So my plans is to get a whole bunch of steel wool, or if I can find some really light grit sandpaper without scratching it. I don't want it to where I bring this paint back and it's got scratches all in this from where I was sanding it down. I don't want that. If it's going to do anything like that, I might as well leave it and just paint it black all over. I don't really want to have scratches in it. That's the main point. I want to get this gray off. I hate the gray. The bottom is going to stay black. The fenders will stay black. I'll paint the hood black. But as far as the body wise, I want it all back white like it used to be. I have no clue why they even overpainted it, because the paint's in really good shape. It's really smooth. Pin stripe on it's blue, so I'm just so excited that I'm finally able to actually move this truck on its own. It actually runs and drives, and I don't have to push it no more. It does kind of jerk me a little bit when it goes into drive. Reverse is not that bad. It's only drive, and I'm kind of wondering if the high pressure pump is turned up too much for the pump pressure for the trans, and that's why it kind of jerks a little bit. You can see it's getting up to temperature, so it's working like it's supposed to. Third. Fourth don't hit until you hit about 40, 45. And then there's overdrive at about 1500 RPM. I actually did fill it up. It only took about 20 bucks. Gas is like $2.15 right now, so, and she's up to temperature. It usually goes up just a hair, a little bit more, and that's usually about normal. It usually stays about right there where it's at now, and doesn't go any higher or any lower, so that's operating temperature. And my oil pressure drops. I don't know exactly what that's at, but 18 or 19. 800 RPM or so. When I drive it more, it usually drops down. If it's 500 RPM, it usually drops down about 10 psi. Now, when I read somebody told me online that 10 psi at 500 RPM was normal, but it's supposed to have 40 to 45 psi when 2000 RPM, but I don't. I'll show you that now. I actually did. That's kind of weird. It's what it's supposed to be. And that was not flooring it. That was close to flooring it, but it's about half throttle. She cruises really good at 55, 60. Haven't really got it on the interstate. There's just a road that's close to me that I can do 55 on. Everything's good. It drives good, shifts good, downshifts good, the brakes are good. So there'll be more to come on this truck. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button. I make how-to repair videos just about every other week, whenever I can, whenever I'm possible. Thanks for watching. Have a great day or night. Stay tuned for more. It's S10 build. Thanks.